Welcome to this monthly council meeting. It is Monday, October the 25th, and it is 5:30. Council acknowledges and pays respects to the Tasmanian Aboriginal community as the traditional and original owners and continuing custodians of this land on which we meet. All persons in attendance are advised that it's council policy to record council meetings in accordance with council's digital recording policy. The digital recording of this meeting will be made available to the public on council's website for a minimum period of 6 months. And a reminder that this meeting is also being live streamed on council's YouTube channel. Item 1 is apologies, and we have a full complement, so there are no apologies. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest on any items listed? No? Thank you. Moving along to item 3.1, confirmation of the minutes of the 27th of September. Do I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Murphy, thank you.
Second that.
Councillor Perry, Councillor Murphy, anything to add?
Community proceeding.
Councillor Perry?
Nothing to add, Mayor.
Any other comments, questions? Councillor Murphy to close.
Zero closed.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 3.2 is public question time, and item 3.2.1 is responses to questions raised at prior meetings. Do I have a mover of the recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Perry.
Seconded.
Councillor Laycock, seconded. Thank you. Councillor Perry.
No, they're all in the agenda, nothing to add, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Laycock.
Nothing to add.
Any comments, questions? Councillor Perry to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
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 Are there any against? The motion's carried unanimously. Item 3.2.2 is questions on notice from the public, and there is a recommendation there. Do I have a mover for that recommendation, please?
So moved.
Councillor Alexia, thank you. A seconder.
Seconded.
Councillor Hollister, thank you. Councillor Alexia, any comment?
Nothing further, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Hollister?
Nothing further, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Councillor Alexia to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 3.2.3 is questions without notice from the public, which is the opportunity for members of the gallery to come to the microphone to state your name and address and asking questions of council at this time. With a reminder that we do have a public question time policy that we will be adhering to. Are there any questions? Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Rodney Russell, 225 Steele Street, Devonport. After seeing so many shopping trolleys in front of the Devonport Regional Gallery, I approached the front staff of the gallery, who said they were in good contact with the supermarkets for their removal. My question is there anything more that Devonport City Council can do to prevent these trolleys from making their way so far from the supermarket?
Thank you, Mr. Russell. Would your manager will respond?
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. Like the customer service person said, we're in regular contact with the supermarkets when we see trolleys down there.
And I understand there is an online system that we as members of the public can also report to the supermarkets. And there may be a link on our website, or we're looking to do that to ensure that people do have the opportunity to report them if they need to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In tonight's agenda, under Infrastructure and Works Report, I see Council's about to restain the external timber cladding to the Devonport Surf Club. Previously, you have replaced 3 roller doors because of rusting. Question, do you have any plans in place to replace or repair the ColourBond cladding damaged due to stones or kicking by unknown persons. That is the cladding that comes down the side.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, there's no plans at the moment to do anything with that.
Thank you.
At the last council meeting, I asked if council could remove the residue tape which had held the planning notice to the multi-storey car park. The General Manager's response in writing was that he regarded the question as comment and would action only if considered necessary. Well, I took the Mayor's advice from the last meeting and tried to remove it this afternoon. It won't come off, so my question is, I think I'll have to leave it to the General Manager to take care of.
Thank you for trying, Mr. Russell.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Right, Trevor Smith, 7 Glen Court, Devonport. I wish to submit this question. The zebra pedestrian crossings at the Splash Aquatic Centre have faded to a poor condition. When will you be getting these pedestrian crossings painted to an acceptable standard? How much money has been raised so far since you started selling off surplus assets to pay down the debt of the living city? Next one. The council has been in the Paranapple Centre for at least 3 to 4 years now. Why is this a loose plastic hanging off the windows on the western of the building, of this building? Surely your engineers and managerial staff...
Mr. Smith, your question can stop there. You've asked the question. I'll ask the General Manager to respond. Thank you.
But I haven't finished asking the
You
question.
did ask the question.
No, I said the council has been 3 to 4 years now. Why is there loose plastic hanging off the windows on the western end of the building? Surely your engineers and managerial staff should have noticed this plastic flapping about in the wind.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Right, thank you. I've finished my answer. Question.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the windows at the western end of the building have got some cracks in them, and as a result of some vandalism, and the plastic's been put on over the cracks until the replacement glass arrives. As in regard to question 2, council's not selling assets to pay down debt on Living City. However, that answers that one, and question 1 will take on notice.
Thank you. Mr. Janney.
Thank you, Mayor Rockcliffe. My name's Douglas Janney, 23 Watkinson Street, Devonport. Tonight's agenda items have authors and endorsers. The index on page 2 and 3 is not correct, as the page numbers and the item numbers do not agree with the item numbers from 5.2 onwards. In August last year, the same problem occurred with the item numbers and page numbers being mismatched. Is the index checked before the agenda is published?
Thank you, Mr. Janney. I would stand by the fact that it is, but I will allow the General Manager to respond.
Yes, thanks. Through you, Madam Mayor. I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, certainly the agenda's checked and it's collated automatically, but we'll take the question on notice in regard to the numbering and provide a response to Mr. Janney.
It's a poor job. Agenda item 5.1 shows a carryover of 50% of the capital works for the 2021 year. This suggests when the budget was prepared that the capital works amount was 1, over-optimistic, 2, there was not enough personnel to undertake the work, or 3, the council personnel were not working hard enough. Which of these 3 possibilities applies?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I guess I can add a 4th point. There's been a significant amount of government funding that came in through the year that was added to the program and resulted into some projects originally intended to be constructed during the year deferred or carried over. And the other point a number of the larger projects extend across multiple financial years, and such as the Lincoln Waterfront Park, and the full amount was budgeted in the year with the intention that part would be carried forward.
That hasn't answered my 3 points.
Thank you, Mr. Janney. We will take it as comment.
No, I want an answer.
Mr. Janney, Mr. Atkins has provided a response to your question.
He said something, but he did not
Mr.
answer the question.
Mr. Janney, this isn't a debate. We have responded. Thank you.
No, you haven't.
And any other questions? Mr. Bellicott?
Bob Bellicott, 11 Cocker Place, Devonport. Mayor, due to some confusion that arose at the 2020 annual general meeting during question time, because general comments were also being made and or accepted, therefore I respectfully ask the Mayor, will you ensure that questions from the floor and comments are listed as separate items in the agenda and treated as such for the 2021 annual general meeting?
Mr. Bellicott, thank you for your submission. We will certainly take that under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, I refer to the minutes of the meeting of the 27th of September 2021, re proposed name change for Providore Place. The following declarations of interest were advised. Your Mayor, your reason was related to a decision of a previous council, Councillor Laycock's, on the council when Providore Place was voted on.
Mr. Bellicott,
And,
I will interrupt you there. We have had that question, a similar question from you in writing that we have decided not to accept as it doesn't meet our policy, and I'm not prepared to accept it again tonight. Thank you.
This is completely different, Mayor. This is it's different, yeah. So I've rewritten that and I'll top it
your
up.
question and then I'll decide.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, part of it will obviously be similar. I must say, Mayor, I cannot recall that you have or any other councillor declared in recent times an interest when seemingly more relevant items about sorting out the problems pertaining to Providore Place have been on the agenda, and I wonder why you did so on September 27th. Based on your reasons for declaring an interest, because Councillor Murphy's notice of motion related to a decision of a previous council, does that mean that if he should in the future give notice of motion to change the name of Market Square to Martin Place, will you also be obliged to declare an interest for that?
Only if he declares it as Market Place, Mr. Bellicott. Thank you.
Well, I think it does need clarifying
Mr.
there.
Bellicott, I have already made a ruling on that question when you submitted it in writing. Do you have a further question?
Well, I do, Mayor. Mayor, I refer to my previous questions commencing on 25th of January 2022 about the total legal costs so far for legal advice given to council pertaining to Providore Place. Only a percentage of the costs has been able to be given because, I quote, legal costs are not captured or reported to the detail you request. Now, I wish to inform I received very reliable information that as at the 28th of January 2022, the legal costs charged to council for Providore Place amounted to a total...
Point of order, Mr. Bellicott, you've used 2022 twice.
I beg your pardon, I'll go back to that.
Please do.
Thank you.
I refer to the I wish to inform I received very reliable information that at the 28th of January 2020, thank you, is that the right? Yeah, 2020, the legal cost charged to council for Providore Place amounted to a total of $21,669. And I note that it was not an approximate percentage figure given, but an actual amount. Given that council officers were able to capture accurately legal costs for property or place up to the 28th of January 2020, why is it that since that time costs are not captured at the same level so as they can be made available for the edification of ratepayers?
Mr. Vellacott, that question has been asked and answered several times, and I will not accept that. Thank you. Do you have a third question?
Sorry, ma'am. I must say it was completely different. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you. We'll move on. Item 3.3 is questions on notice from councillors, and at the time of compilation we do not have any. We'll move on to item 3.4, notices of motion and again. There aren't any on this. And item 4, planning authority matters. We will move through that as well. Item 5 is reports. Item 5.1 is projects carried forward from the 2020-21 capital program for this financial year just completed. There is a recommendation on that item. Do I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Hollister, thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Happy to second that.
Councillor Maycock, thank you. Councillor Hollister?
Yes, thank you. It's all in the report. There's quite a good report there telling us where all the capital's been spent, all the different departments and so forth, what's carried over, what's additional. So it's all there for everybody to read. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Maycock.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I noticed on page 17 that with the Mersey Bluff precinct, with the traffic, the pedestrian parking and improvements, etc., in stage 2, and it's probably a little bit, doesn't come into this exactly, but I'd like to just raise it, that perhaps it's time that this council looked at us working with the state government to get a bus stop down into that area for the people that want to go to the Bluff with small families that don't have transport, and also for the people that might want to be getting off to visit relatives and friends in the aged care facility. Thank you.
Good point. Off topic, but good point.
Yes.
Are there any other comments, questions? Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. It's just worth noting the significant savings we've had over this current financial year, over $700,000. But more importantly, I think there wouldn't be too many councils along the coast here that actually have a CapEx budget as high as what we've got. So it's a real testament of what we're able to actually do with some forward thinking and some planning and actually get some results on the ground. So it's something that we should put a feather in our cap. Others are looking ways to save money, and we're finding ways to keep people in jobs.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Any other? Councillor Perry?
I'll just add to Councillor Murphy's comment and be able to afford it and still have a surplus. So we're pretty proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, questions? Councillor Hollister to close the debate.
Consider it closed.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? The motion's carried unanimously. Item 5.2 is the Devonport Sports Infrastructure Master Plan for 2035. Do I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Mahon, thank you. Do I have a seconder?
A second.
Councillor Alexia, thank you. Councillor Milburn.
Well done to Ms Bryant for putting together this master plan. It's taken quite some time and a lot of work to be able to go around all the sporting facilities within the city and to see their numbers and what their future plans are and where the future sporting patterns lie for the city. And it's quite interesting to see what our needs will be in 10 to 15 years' time. So I commend her for the work that she's done and think that this plan is absolutely needed for the longevity of sport within our wonderful city. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milburn. Councillor Alexia.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. Yeah, definitely. Sport has been very busy with this project. It's a big project for Devonport, and there's a lot of good outcomes going to come from this report. considered the value is going to be high for the community for sports infrastructure. To have those facilities up to scratch and where they are now, they're probably fairly well depleted. Having this planning process will benefit the whole community of Devonport. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, Councillor Ennis?
Thank you. One of the really important aspects of any community is the sport that's played within it, and I think this infrastructure master plan really tricky to put together, but it is obviously going to be open to public consultation, and we'd love some feedback from people involved. So there's the opportunity, for 30 days to have a read of it, take it on board, and reply and say what you like and what you don't like about it. Should be good. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, Councillor Murphy?
Thank you, Mayor. Look, it's such an important project for the community. I think this is a real opportune time for people to get themselves involved and to think outside the square and to think a bit bigger and not to think 5 years' time, to think 20 or 30 years down the track, because when you look at the current growth that we're experiencing, and COVID's been a godsend, if you like, to Tasmania, especially the northwest region, where more and more people want to come here and live. And I think, sporting facilities are going to underpin the fabric of any community. And I think if we think big, very similar to what some people did around some of the more successful aspects of living city, I think we've got to be just as big in this particular area as well. I think it's significantly, it's going to be a challenge, obviously, but there will be opportunities out there, and I think we need to capitalise on those opportunities. So I think it's something that we should embrace, and again, be courageous and think big.
Thank you. Any other comments? It certainly has been a big task to pull this information together, but I think it will be a really important document for future councils to have something in writing and a plan moving forward, not an ad hoc approach to grant funding and those sorts of things. It will be really an important document once it's bedded down. So thank all of the people who put all the work in and look forward to the feedback from the community. With that, I will ask Councillor Milborn to close the debate.
Consider it closed.
I'll put motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 5.3 is the annual financial report to the 30th of June 2021. Is there a recommendation?
So moved.
Councillor Perry.
Second.
Thank you. Councillor Murphy. Councillor Perry.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Well, this could be aptly described as a stunning result from our team at council. When we set the budget last year, we did set it against a backdrop of unknown COVID ramifications. So we were conservative, but having said that, even we still had a successful year, and that was reflected in our rate settings at the June meeting. We in this year, the past 7 years, we've had 4 years of no rates increases. The other 3 years in accumulation of 3.6%, when CPI for the same period is 11.3%. So that's an incredible result. And we made the commitment at the start of the Living City project that our rates would not increase because of Living City, and we've delivered on that commitment again this year and for the entire 7 years. The point's been made that someone suggested that we should find the money to pay down our current borrowings before we do anything else remotely speculative. Well, the fact is we are earning more from our current borrowings than we're paying in interest. So in fact, we're 200,000 in front as we speak, and that will increase every year as rents increase and interest rates don't increase. Our commercial interest rate on 40-something million has a 2 in front of it, which is an incredible interest rate, and full credit to our staff for achieving that result. And our interest is $900-something thousand a year, and our rental income supporting that interest, actually exceeding that interest, is 1.1 million. That's an incredible result, and you consider our debt against net assets of 640 odd million. It is a fantastic business model, and it's come about because of a lot of hard work in recent years by a lot of people. And, it's all right to rhetorically mythicise about what we're doing wrong and what we're doing right, but the fact is we are in an incredibly strong financial position, and that's because of the work of our senior staff, some good decisions made around the table. Not everyone's been good, we understand that, we get that, but over a long period of time we've made some really good decisions, and the fruit is there for all to see now. So I commend the staff, I commend the report to the staff, and look forward to further good news as the years roll forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perry. Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Well said, Councillor Perry. In reality, the numbers don't lie. It's just plain and simple. They're there for everyone to see. Taking into consideration we did in that COVID period, as Councillor Perry said, and I agree wholeheartedly with everything he's just said. I really do think that we are, with the envy of probably a lot of other councils along the northwest coast, if not the northern half of the state. We're widely criticised for the level of debt, and that's taken a period of time to come to terms with that for some people, and for some people that haven't come to terms with it. But the reality is, when we've got the level of assets that we've got, it puts us in a really strong position. And once you have that understanding of what that position of having those assets can actually do and allow us to achieve the results that we've gotten, because the simple fact being it's creating that employment and the willingness and the desire to live here. So, which is only going to see our revenue base increase. And that's the big thing. I think now that we are becoming a place that people, a desirable place to live, we'll see our rate base grow over the next 5 to 10 years, which will, $40 million or $47 million worth of debt will be insignificant compared to the actual growth that we'll see in the community. So I think the other thing that's worth mentioning too is the process that we go through in relation to doing the budget deliberations. The fact that we're able to do that during COVID, and that also has now been picked up by other councils to see that we're able to, have an online presence, if you like, in having those communications, and the fact that we're able to continually ask questions and get more information than we previously have been limited to. So I think that actually puts the decision makers in a far better position for some of the good advice that we get from the council employees. So well done.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Hollister.
I think our figures showing extremely good by council staff and council itself. I think the development virtually started with COVID, when council pushed for the Living City to start. I think that started a lot of other community development, and I believe that there's more things in the pipeline now that will continue this on. Unemployment in Devonport, I think during the COVID we were so lucky that we had so much construction going on. So hopefully this will keep going on into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ladd.
Thank you, Mayor. I probably should have turned my light off because the previous speakers have said it all. It's a wonderful result, and congratulations to the General Manager and his senior team and the other staff, because we are leading the way. We've taken a lot of knocks for this along the way from a few people, which wasn't necessary, and we've shown them that we can do it, and we're under good fiscal management. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? I will ask Councillor Perry to close.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, and thank you to fellow councillors for your comments. I'd just like to add that the debt that we have taken on is not for recurrent spending. It's not for something that we have to do each year. This is intergenerational debt to rebuild our city. And there's no question that Devonport, anecdotally, in fact the data would support it as well, Devonport has become an investment hotspot. We've got, and councillors know, several projects that are in the wind, medium to large scale projects that wouldn't have come to Devonport 5 years ago, but they're coming now. So the debt that we've taken on is achieving its purpose. It's intergenerational. It's successful. We're managing it easily, and I'm just so proud that we've got to this point after a fairly hard slog there in the early years. And again, I just commend the staff, because essentially they do the work. We make decisions and they do the work, and you know, sometimes we're not that easy to deal with. I get that, but congratulations to you. And Devonport is definitely on the move, and we are the envy of other councils, not only across the coast but across the state. And long may it continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perry. I will close the debate and put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 5.4 is the Land Arts Partnership Agreement for 2022 to 2026. Do I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Murphy, Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Mayor. I've never made any bones about the fact that this is not an area of expertise that I claim to be an expert in, but the impact that it's having in the community is fantastic, and I think this is a no-brainer for the Devonport community and probably the broader community of the region. So the organisation itself provides council with very detailed and high quality, high level information in relation to, on a regular basis, which only supports the view that we are now becoming, or seen to becoming, a bit of a regional hub for arts within the community and within the North West Coast region. So I think what we get out of this, more from an experience perspective, but more from a connection and community perspective, is far more valuable than you know, anything else that we can go and chasing rent.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Johnny.
I'm very proud that we're continuing. Just very proud that we're continuing our relationship with a wonderful organisation run by Kitty and Nathan. They're incredible what they've already done. You always say in business, when you're, especially when you're starting off and you're trying to get becoming known in an area, and these guys moved here, is you under-promise and over-deliver. And the best thing about these guys is they kind of over-delivered with over-promises and then did extra on top of that. It was just amazing what they've come through and done in the last 12 months. We're talking during COVID, with restrictions, having to think outside the square and do things differently, and nothing just seems to be a problem for these guys. And what they've done for the community as a whole has lifted, certainly for me, knowing that the arts is in really good hands, and our youth have got a place to go and to feel comfortable with, and probably are excited about what next they're going to do. So very pleased to see that this is going forward, and can't wait to see what these guys are capable of, and can't wait to see that we continue it after this has finished. So I'm very, very proud that they're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, I agree entirely with the previous two speakers, particularly Councillor Murphy's comment that my artistic knowledge would probably be less than Councillor Murphy's and doesn't, but I do know, and I've said this before, I do know thriving cities or towns do need a thriving arts culture, and these guys have taken their arts culture to a new level. The KPIs that were required as part of the agreement the first year were easily met and will be easily met again. I can just see that from the outstanding presentation that we received from Nathan and Dave in August. And, you know, we copped a little bit of flack for taking on this this particular agreement because apparently there are other opportunities out there where we could have perhaps got a higher rent. But not everything council does is about collecting money. We've also noted in this report that if council were to try and replicate what Grant's doing, it would cost us more and we wouldn't do it as well. So their purpose, for that reason alone, is fantastic for us. We know that we, as a city, and the arts community is in good hands with Grant, and I congratulate them. I see them here tonight on their performance so far, and let's become the arts and cultural hub of the North West Coast if we're not already. So well done to everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perry. Councillor Ennis.
Thank you. Yes, very impressed with the innovative and forward thinking that comes part of with this partnership with Rant Art, and it's fantastic for our city that, and we see the level of detail and planning that goes into all their actions. And it's fantastic for our city to be proudly host them here and for us to be involved in this. So congratulations and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Councillor Alexia?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I just want to concur with previous council speakers there. Brand Arts, like when they approached council, they promised a lot and they've certainly delivered. Congratulations to the guys. Good job, well done. We look forward to working with you in the future and bringing more arts and development to Devonport and making it a better city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Hollister?
I think also we're finding that Bernie stopping a lot of their art sort of work, that we're picking up people in Devonport that are actually coming across from Bernie. So it all helps.
Thank you, Councillor Hollister. I would just like to add my acknowledgement of the work and enthusiasm that's been shown over the last 12 months from the members of the Brand team, and thank them for that and for their work with our team as well. I know that they've worked very closely, not only with our council team, but with many of the not-for-profits in our community. And I just want to acknowledge those partnerships because they are really important to the people of our community. So thank all of those people for that. And on that, I will ask Councillor Murphy to close.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, well, I suspect there is a very vocal and prominent mayor from further west, probably envious of the situation that Devonport, didn't mention any names, but the fact of the matter is that we are growing, and that arts culture is growing, and the fact that we've got such a wonderful organisation to foster that, we are very fortunate. So, consider close.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? The motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 6 is information. Item 6.1 is workshops and briefings held since our last council meeting.
So moved.
Councillor Laycock, thank you.
Seconded.
I saw Councillor Ennis. Thank you. Councillor Laycock. Councillor Laycock, anything to add?
Thank you, Mayor. It's there for everyone to read, but it's quite clear that we were briefed on two future developments, a catch up with the East Devonport Community House to find out what their needs are, Easy Park, which is great, waste management, which is always on our agenda, and of course Providore Place. So yeah, really interesting workshop on the 11th of October. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ennis?
Nothing further.
Any other comments, questions? Councillor Holster?
If you look at the description of our workshops, you'll see that 3 of those are potential further construction in the city, so it shows that things are on the move.
Thank you. Councillor Laycock to close the debate.
Consider it closed.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion is carried unanimously. Item 6.2 is the Mayor's monthly report. Do I have to move it, please?
So, Mayor.
Councillor Alexia, thank you. Second.
I'll second that.
Councillor Perry, thank you. Councillor Alexia.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Another busy month for you, by the looks of that. I just had a couple of questions to ask you. How did the Christmas and Easter go? How are we looking for this year?
Yes, we've made plans to do a similar program that we did last year, as in go out to people rather than have an event at Pioneer Park. So it's well underway.
And just one other question of the East Devonport Tennis Club. I haven't had the opportunity to get down there at all, but what are the numbers like down there for tennis club?
There were certainly quite a few there on opening day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Perry.
Nothing further to add.
Any other comments, questions?
Just a quick comment, Mayor, if you don't mind. It was nice that you went along to the celebration of the life of Eric Moggs, a former president of the Devonport Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Eric has done a power of work for this city in several areas. particularly in the Chamber of Commerce and of course the senior citizens group. So Eric will be sorely missed, but he did set the Chamber up for the future, and it does play a vital part within our community. Thank you.
Thank you. I felt very honoured to be invited. Are there any other comments, questions? Councillor Alexia O'Close.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, Councillor Local, it was very sad to see the passing of Eric Mobbs. Unfortunately, I didn't have much dealings with Eric, but at the time that I met the guy, he was quite a gentleman to me, and very sad news. But consider it closed, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion is carried unanimously. Item 6.3 is the General Manager's report for October. Do I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Perry. Councillor Palmer. Councillor Perry.
Yeah, look, again, leading from the front, and there's just one question that I had with, for the General Manager, along with you, Mayor, met with Craig Brakey and Alan Bradford, who were doing some work for Advance West Northwest. Can you report on that meeting at all, General Manager, or are you at liberty to, or was it a bit early?
Yes, through you, Mayor. It's really just an introductory meeting talking about that organisation that they're heading up and what they intend to do and promote wind farms and so just looking for council support in the future. And yes, there'll be further information to come.
Okay, thank you, nothing more.
Councillor Jarman, is the seconder?
Yes, and through you to the General Manager too, just my question would be, met with National Office representatives from insurance broker JLT, National Local Government Vulnerability Program. Have we got a bit more information on that, or can we get some more going forward?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Yes, I can provide some further information. They're hoping of getting a federal government grant, and if JLT secure that money, they'll be looking at rolling out this program to assist councils right across the country improve their risk management and their vulnerability planning.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you very much. Nothing further.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, just at 1.4 there in the report, attended along with councillors' conflict of interest training session, which I was one of those councillors that attended, and found it invaluable. More importantly, it poked a lot of holes in the code of conduct system and everything else that goes with it.
Thank you. Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to mention 1.4, Councillor Murphy, so I'm pleased you did that. But it was nice to have the General Manager there as part of the training because we're able to have, and we'll continue to have discussions with the General Manager because of the way the Code of Conduct is set up and how it is run. I must also say that it was nice to have our General Manager, I know it's written in the report, joining with the Chamber of Commerce for the industry tour of Biomar out at Wesley Vale. It's always good if I understand the elected members were invited, and there were a couple that did come along. So that was good. We need to understand what manufacturing as well as industry and businesses are in our, if not our community, in our neighbouring communities. And it was very special too to be part with the General Manager of the opening of the Gateway Community Care facilities out there at the Don. They need to be commended publicly because they've done a power of work. The manager Cheryl Jones and Pastor Mark, they do exceptional work out there for families. It is a real haven. So if you have the opportunity, you want to go out and have a coffee, please do so, because I'm sure they'd be very happy to show you through. Thank you.
Councillor Hollister. No, sorry.
Yes. 1.6 in council management. Do we have much problems with harassment, bullying and discrimination as far as the council goes? Some councils around the state have had quite a lot of trouble with this. How's our situation?
Yes, through you, Mayor. That's a training that we put all our staff through every 2 years. just think it's beneficial to keep people up to date and aware of their obligations in that regard. I think overall we're comfortable that we've got a strong staff culture and we don't have too many issues in that space.
A further question? I see they're doing some burning off in the Kelsos Tea Green Reserve. Are we doing any in the Don Reserve? It seems pretty overgrown when you go walking through there.
Yeah, through you, Mayor, I understand Tasmos is planning burns in both the Don Reserve and Kelso Tea Reserve over the spring or the autumn period.
Thank you.
Thank you. Apologies, Councillor Ennis, next.
That's all right, very patient. 1.3, I noticed the General Manager dusted off the suit and attended the gala dinner. I've had some great feedback of people attending functions at the Paranacle Centre, Convention Centre. It is proving to be awesome, and people sort of giving feedback. We never thought this sort of thing was available in Devonport. It is certainly opening a lot of eyes of colleagues from around the state, and it's becoming a destination for events. So I hope you enjoyed your evening.
Thank you, Councillor Ennis. Yes, it was good dinner. Actually had to buy a bow tie. It was it was good to see a lot of different people, southern people that we don't normally see up this way come and experience the building, and I was certainly impressed with what we were able to host.
Any further questions of the General Manager? Councillor Perry, closed.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank everyone for their comments, really good comments, and consider it closed. Thank you.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Technology, Mr. Griffith. Computers as well.
The old paper.
It's very comforting when a tech guru can't fix it. Thank you, Councillor Perry. Moving on to item 6.4, we have unconfirmed minutes of the Craig Coast Authority next meeting. Do I have a move of
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Jarman.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Jarman.
Yes, it's all there for everybody to read, but look, I just will point out that at a Craig Coast Authority level, we certainly did talk about PESRAC report, and certainly having the 8 councils there to be able to speak about that was comforting, I guess is how I'd put it. Certainly nice to be able to hear from everybody what they thought about it, what they thought about the Minister's approach, and how we thought as a group we could go together as one voice and speak to the Minister about any concerns or things that we thought would be fruitful for us moving forward and looking at resource sharing better, which I think we do very well anyway. So, you know, I believe that that's what the Craig Coast Authority is meant to be about, and I was really pleased to have that forum for us to be able to speak very freely at the time, and I thought it was run very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milburn.
It's good to see that the King Island Mayor is now appointed as the director, Juliana. Not only does she have the skills to be the director of the authority, but also it just shows equity along the coast to be able to give her that opportunity. So that's thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments? Councillor Jarman to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? The motion's carried unanimously. Item 6.5 is unconfirmed minutes of the Mersey Leave and Emergency Management Committee. Do I have a move, please?
So moved.
Councillor Jarman? Seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Milburn, thank you. Councillor Jarman?
A committee that gets together, very importantly. I'll certainly have the pleasure of sitting in on a few of the meetings in the Mayor's been able to, and I certainly can appreciate the people that are in the room and what they bring to the table in these meetings. I know we're in good hands, certainly when there's a disaster, doesn't matter what it is. They certainly have covered so many different bases, and I do like the way they debrief when there has been a disaster that's perhaps not been dealt with before, and how they are very professional in moving forward about what would happen for the next time. And so it's a very important committee that get together, and I certainly respect that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Milburn?
Nothing further.
Any other comments, questions? The last meeting had a very interesting report on the whale stranding on the West Coast, which was really interesting to hear it from the point of view of the controller of the scene and how he managed it. And I think that there's quite a bit of that information in the attachment. I'll ask Councillor Jarman to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 6.6 is Development and Health Services Report for the 2 months. Do I have a move, please?
So moved.
Councillor Hollister, thank you.
Second that.
And thank you, Councillor Metzger. Councillor Hollister.
It's a very detailed plan, or report actually. When you look through the statutory requirements of all the government acts that are be covered by this department, there's a lot of work. It's all there. Nothing further to add.
Thank you, Councillor Metzger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, no, great job to Colin Onson for getting the report ready for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Metzger.
Thank you, Mayor. Just an interesting little stat. Almost receiving a development application in only 2 days, which is a pretty healthy number if we can continue that trend. That's a very positive number. I think there wouldn't be too many councils along the coast, maybe exclusion of the neighbour next door, but that may not be achieving that, so that's pretty positive.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? I'll ask Councillor Hollister to close.
Consider it closed.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. Item 6.7 is the infrastructure and works report for the 2 months. Do I have a move, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Jarman.
Second that.
Councillor Clare. Thank you, Councillor Jarman.
Yeah, I do have a question. Thank you. The report's very extensive and as usual, and certainly keeps us up to date with what's going on around the place. Item 1.5, which is on page 55, if you can go through you. It's just a question from a resident who happens to have a disability. The renewal of the Don Reserve Playground. No questions asked. Everybody's really happy with what's going on there. It's wonderful. There used to be some seating. Are we just planning on replacing that seating when everything's finished? Or what are our plans if not?
Can I ask Mr. Skirving to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. So there was some seating that was associated with the former playground on the edge of the car park, which has been salvaged. We would be looking to reinstate seating. It may not be that exact seat that's replaced.
No, that's fine. Yeah. That's all they're looking forward to. Yeah. Thank you. Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you, councillor Perry.
Yeah, once again, a really good report. I guess this time of year is reasonably busy for our works team with the changeover of sports. Repatriating some of the grounds that are used for dual purposes. And just on the playground that Councillor Jarman spoke of, how are we going with the Flying Fox? Is that close to being installed yet? I know there are a lot of kids out there waiting for that to happen. It's a great playground, I say, but they're waiting for the Flying Fox.
I can update councillors perhaps during the week with the expected installation date through your mayor of that. I know the order was placed some months ago, and I think some of the preparatory work's been completed. But we'll share that information with councillors and the community on an expected completion date.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, look, we seem to be ticking along very nicely. We're kicking some goals here in this area. One that's been raised to Gurukhu Avenue. May not be on the list, but it's probably worth mentioning, having a look at the road surface there, if that's possible, on behalf of concerned ratepayers.
Take that under advisement. Councillor Murphy, thank you. Are there any other questions? Councillor Evans?
Yes, I noticed 1.6 Greenway Avenue, which is obviously undertaking some road safety improvements there. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I know it's sort of getting pretty much underway now, but there'll be a lot of residents who'll be looking forward to the outcome of that, no doubt.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, Councillor Alexia?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. If we look at the item 1.7 on Durkins Road, unfortunately I lost a close friend on that bit of road there, and I just wanted to extend from the family that they're very happy that the Durkins Road has been updated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? I will ask Councillor Jarman to close.
I'm sure Councillor Perry will have a go on the Flying Fox when it's finished. Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion carried unanimously. Item 7.1, Planning Authority Committee meeting of the 11th of October. Do I have a movement of those minutes?
So moved.
Councillor Murphy, thank you.
Seconded.
Councillor Perry, thank you. Councillor Murphy.
Milling station.
Thank you. Councillor
It's all in the report, thank you.
Are there any comments, questions? Councillor Murphy.
Consider closed.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. That brings us to the close of the open session. Do I have a move to move into closed session?
So moved.
Second, Councillor Perry. Councillor Laycock, any comment? No, sorry, Councillor Murphy, Councillor Laycock. Any comment?
No.
Thank you, Councillor Laycock.
No, nothing.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any against? Motion's carried unanimously. That brings us to the end of the open part of this monthly meeting.